Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome to the War Room. So, let's start out with what happened yesterday during the stream. The stream from September 18th, that is. Spoiler alert, played 4 out of 4 matches and... well, that makes sense. I played 4 matches and I lost all 4 of them. The thing is, while I was quite upset, quite pissed off about that during the stream, I wasn't actually that upset about it after all. And here's why. The stream that I did yesterday was intentional 1v1s, and I didn't really care who I went up against. I was there to learn, find out what works, what doesn't work, and mostly to establish patterns, both in my own mind. So what am I thinking? How am I thinking? Is this actually working out? Is this strategy sound or not? Does the deck work? But also to try and find patterns in the playstyle of the others that I went up against. Are there things that they're doing all the same? Or do they all have the same weakness, potentially? And one of those weaknesses was indeed discovered. A lot of people use one flank as a fallback flank or a skeleton crew. They have a few units on one end. And then they have little else on that end to defend those little tiny units over there against aircraft or helicopters. So that is something that I might be exploiting in some of the next 1v1 matches. Another thing is that, and that's something that I learned from Razman, by the way, keep an eye on his channel. He's supposedly also covering the match that I did against him yesterday. Link to that in the description down below. Razman didn't go for the standard zones. And by standard zones I mean Plunge and Valley. You have the in Conquest mode, that is, you have the 2-point zones and then you have the 1-point zones on the flanks. And when he had pushed those, or my units out of the 2-point zone on my end, he just instantly landed command infantry there. And that's something that I thought was really, really clever. Instead of going for something as easy or as cheap as a 1-point zone, which is what most people do, he went, nope, I'm going to go for the 2-point zone because it is getting me more income. Or at least that's my interpretation of his thinking. That's what I think he was up to. And that is clever, because it means you get a lot more points a lot faster. Whereas with my more conventional thinking, I thought, no, I'm going to go for one of the 1-point zones instead. So being aggressive, going for the points that are really critical, going for the high value zones, that is something that I really, really have to practice and that I really have to work at in order to get better at. But then again, that's exactly what the stream was for. It's to go over what works, what doesn't work, and also to have a bit of mental training. In the sense that I know that I have to rack up a number of losses in order to learn. It is not fun, of course, and I understand why people think after a couple of matches, oh, screw this, I'm done. And I had the exact same thing. But I do try to keep going, because I want to keep getting better at this. And as someone mentioned it, in a book, by the way, not during the stream, if you want to get better at something, you have to just... as he mentioned it, break down a part of yourself and rebuild it with a better part. My knowledge of Wargame, I thought, was quite good. And this is turning into an immense learning experience for me, in the sense that I'm not going to say everything I thought I knew was wrong, but the tactics that I usually use in Destruction don't work in Conquest. And that is something that I have to work at. And this is the only way that I'm going to find out if it works or if it doesn't work. And of course, it's a bit like training a muscle. The whole getting better at Conquest. You want to try and get as many matches in, you want to try and keep working that muscle. And by doing such, getting better at it, and eventually I might up even winning some matches, lo and behold. But I'll probably have to stick to one deck, instead of going for multiple decks. And switching out one deck every now and then. I'm going to go for probably one Red Fort deck, presumably an Eastern Force General, and for blue, maybe Commonwealth. I find that Commonwealth just tends to do best, or at least I've seen people have the best success rate with it. So those are probably the two decks that I'm going to go for. Now in case you missed the stream, the matches will all be cast one day at a time. And unfortunately the quality isn't as good as I had hoped that it would be. It is, of course, putting a bit of a strain on my PC to run both Wargame and stream and record the stream at the same time. So the stream quality isn't fantastic, and therefore the video quality isn't fantastic. But with, even in Wargame with the lower quality, you can of course still make out the tactics and strategies that were used. And after every match I quickly go over a replay to have a look at what the other was using, how he had his forces positioned, what he started with, etc. So that is Wargame stream. There will of course be another Wargame stream tonight, not one of mine, but no less interesting. Probably a lot more interesting in fact, as we're going to be seeing the Israeli units. That's going to be streamed by Eugen, and link to the stream is in the description as well. I don't really know that much about the Israeli units yet, other than what they've shown us in the blog post and to some extent in the forum posts. There is talk about all Blue 4 decks suddenly becoming obsolete. There is talk about the Israelis having all sorts of super units. I don't know. We haven't even seen anything yet. We haven't even seen stats. We don't know about availability. We can go into theory crafting, and I have seen a lot of theory crafting going on, especially with World of Warships, where people are responding to leaks and unofficial releases of information, which are, let's say, in the alpha stage. For example, the British cruisers for World of Warships, they were in the alpha state and then got semi-leaked, and people got really, really upset about them. But the units weren't even out yet, and I don't find that to be a particularly useful time of your energy and both your energy and your time, actually. So I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon and just start theory crafting about what units might be good, what might not work, the strategies, the tactics involved. Let's just wait and see for the stream, and then wait a couple more weeks for, I believe, October 4th or 3rd. I think it's 4th. And that's when the gameplay will actually be available. That's when the DLC will be released. Which, of course, will probably draw in a whole lot of people that either have not been playing Wargame lately, or people who are being drawn to Wargame because no doubt the game will go on sale yet again. Presumably with the DLC. I don't know the price tag about the DLC, but what I do predict is that there's going to be a lot of people only wanting to play Blue 4. And of course, when the game gets, or when the DLC gets released, I'll probably be doing a stream about that, having matches, doing deck reviews, stuff like that. First, of course, I'm going to have to get a bit of practice under my own Israeli deck by the time, but we'll just see how it goes down. We'll see what kind of units are in, and hopefully tonight. I'm really, really excited to see what kind of units they're bringing, what availability they're thinking of, and I wouldn't be surprised if all of the stats and all of the availability, for example, are still subject to change. And even after the DLC is released, they're probably going to be balancing it out anyways. Because they might find that the DLC, or that some of the units are overpowered, some are underpowered, some have too high availability, some have too low. I mean, just look at how much they've been balancing and rebalancing units such as the super heavies. Or, I'm not sure if any of you still remember, but way back when the game was released, that was, gosh, what was that? April 2014, maybe? Way back then. I believe that the game was an ATGM party, in the sense that the infantry had such good ATGM weapons, with such high accuracy, that tank warfare was virtually impossible. And now look at the state of the game, where opening up with a super heavy is more likely to happen than to not happen. They've been rebalancing it constantly, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see at least 2 rebalances for the Israeli deck. And then, of course, I believe the next one is going to be Finland. I expect that thing to be released sometime in 2017. And once again, they're probably going to have to balance it out and try to work at it until the game makes sense. And then still there will be people who will not be happy with it. Which is fine. You're always going to have those. Other things in game news. World of Warships got its first anniversary. And I was quite surprised about how Wargaming didn't really seem to exploit that. I mean, normally, at least for World of Tanks, they have all of these discounts. They say, woohoo, we made it to our first, second, third, fourth, fifth year anniversary. And we got all sorts of special missions. We got a gift tank for you. We have a couple of, garage slots for free for you. Here's the discount on all the premium tanks that we have. And enjoy. Here's the, the times 3, times 4, times 5 markup for your XP. Warships just didn't do that. They had a times 3 XP multiplier for the weekend, for the first match of the day, which is only 50% better than the normal, which is a times 2 multiplier pretty much almost every weekend. And that was it. There was, there was a mission where you could get premium time. There was a mission, but that was previous, where you could get a specific type of flag, but that was due to the release of a patch and not due to the release of the game being 1 year old. And they just didn't have any, let's say, higher discounts than normal on premium ships, which I thought was really weird, because it reminded me of high school economics, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the term, price elasticity, which basically means that the number of sales is likely to go up if you lower your prices somewhat. And of course it becomes the question of how much should you lower your price in order for it not to get a lower revenue than normal. So say that you have normally 10 clients buying something from you for $10 each, and you make $100 revenue. Then now you lower your price to 8, but you get 15 clients, getting you 120 revenue. And a discount like that, I think, would be appropriate for a World of Warships anniversary. But apparently they thought different. They went, nope, we're not going to do that. And of course the Reddit was up in flames. I haven't been to the forums, but the Reddit was all entitled and going like, oh, whoa, where's my discount? Wargaming, your party sucks. Stuff like that. I don't claim to be one of those entitled people, but I was just more surprised, more curious about why they wouldn't do that. What's their thinking behind it? Or did they just get so busy with patches or with other events? Potentially the 100th anniversary of the tank, that was also this weekend. But I thought there were two different studios designing the games. Anyways, I'm not sure why it didn't work out, but I was more surprised than malcontent with it. I was just surprised that they didn't do it. I think it's a missed opportunity. Something else that I have been quite busy with last week is a new book that came out. I'm not sure if you've heard of the book. It has a really, really interesting title. It's a book by Mark Manson. The title is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which, of course, is going to at least get my attention. Mark Manson is a psychology slash philosophy writer. I'm not sure if he uses the term philosophy himself too, but it's mostly psychology, and how you can use that to improve your own thinking to get better at aspects of your life. And he wrote a book with a couple of his blog posts, mostly expanded blog posts, and they are just so damn good. Here's an extract from the book. He says, "This book is not some guide to greatness. It couldn't be, because greatness is merely an illusion in our minds, a made-up destination that we obligate ourselves to pursue, our own psychological Atlantis." Now, the writing style alone is just enough to get me completely riled up and completely going, jeez, this guy can write. Greatness is merely an illusion in our minds, a made-up destination that we obligate ourselves to pursue. And this also ties into something that he goes into later, which is your definition of success, your definition of happiness. And so long as you don't have a clear-cut definition, I think I went into that last week as well. Unless you have a clear-cut definition, you're not going to reach that definition, or you're not going to reach that that end game or that end point. And for me, especially yesterday, this was true during the stream. I didn't always have a clear-cut goal, so I was never going to reach it. I didn't claim to want to take zones X, Y, and Z. And that's why I didn't, and that's why I presumably lost the match. But lately I have been trying to figure out a definition of success, and for me it is not that much along the lines of make X amount of euros or dollars or whatever each month, or unlock that new premium tank, or unlock that new World of Warships unit, or get that new premium tank. It's not that... how should I put this? I don't really consider that success. And I really thought quite a bit about this, and the way that I define success for me is doing something that I enjoy doing, that fascinates me, and especially that part is important to me. It fascinates me because if I don't find myself being fascinated, if I don't see myself learning and improving, I'm not interested. And then the second part, and making money with it, so that I can sustain myself, my girlfriend, and whoever else may follow, in the sense of a family that's probably to come later. I found that to be, for me at least, a pretty decent definition. And it took me months in order to reach that destination, or in order to reach that, even getting the definition right. Because, as they say, if your goal is just to make money, then you're never going to have enough. Because what is enough money? Is that 2,000 a month? 3,000? 10,000? 20? I don't know. It depends on your own goals, and your own definitions, and your own plans. Other thing that he writes: there is a premise that underlies a lot of our assumptions and beliefs. The premise is that happiness is algorithmic, that it can be worked for and earned as achieved, and achieved as if it were getting accepted to law school or building a really complicated Lego set. And this is what, at least I have been trapped in a way, over the past few years. I thought, well, if I just make $5,000 a month, I'll be happy. Why that number? And this is what he means. It's not algorithmic. It's not an if-then system. It's not if income is 5,000, then state of mind is happiness in a sort of semi-programming terms. It just doesn't work that way. And that is something that he discusses in one of his chapters. And he also describes problems and problem solving. Because he says we always need to have a problem. And this is not a quote, by the way, but he says we always need to have a problem. Something that we're working on, something we're interested in. And there is a very, very important difference between let's say the problem. In the sense that if it's a problem of your choosing, a problem of your design, then it suddenly becomes workable. And you go, oh yeah, I can probably work on this, I can probably fix it. If it becomes a problem that was forced upon you, then that's probably going to cause stress. In the sense of, oh Jesus, my boss just asked me to get this deadline done tomorrow, I have no idea how I'm going to do that. That's when you fly off the rails. Or at least, that's when I mentally fly off the rails with Wargame, for example. How do I come back from this? At your job, the boss giving you the deadline could cause you to fly off the rails and not do a good job as much as you'd expected. But if you're going, you know what, I want to try and take tomorrow off, so I'm going to work really hard today in order to get this thing done for tomorrow, and you still achieve the same result without your boss giving you an external deadline, but instead an internal deadline caused by your own, let's say your own design choices, then that's different, isn't it? That suddenly becomes acceptable, because it is a problem of your choosing. This book has a ton of these, well, to me, really memorable quotes, and to me, really, really interesting stuff. And I can just I pretty much read a third of the book in one night, and I'll probably be finishing it either today or tomorrow, because it is just that good. I'm not going to spoil too much more. The subtle art of not giving a fuck. And the title actually refers to not giving a fuck, so not caring about something. But it also implies that you have to care about some stuff. And that stuff is the stuff that you want to go for regardless. And where you don't give a fuck whatever it takes in order to get there. Anyway, more on that in the description down below so that you have a good look at the book. It is really, really cheap, especially if you get it on Kindle. I think I paid, what, $8 for it? Something like that. It's really cheap and you get a lot of quality out of it. So, really, really recommended. Moving on to this week. Tonight, of course, we have the stream for the Israeli deck. Wednesday, I'll be streaming again. Not Wargame this time around. I'm going to be doing From the Depths Adventure Mode. Building a new Adventure Mode line from scratch. And we're going to have a look and see if I can keep the ship afloat, or the airship, or whatever it's going to be. I'll be putting up another announcement video soon, and with it a poll in order to have you guys let me know what you want me to try and build. And I'm really interested to see if I can actually try to not fail on camera. We're going to see about that. As for the rest of the videos, with the stream done, we're going to be seeing a lot more Wargame, but they're mostly going to be a sort of bonus video. The commentary is the same commentary that I put up during the stream, so there's not really anything special going on there. The main content will be the video itself, with a very, very short introduction, and it's going to be going up besides the usual videos. So for today we have the War Room, and then as a bit of a bonus video, there's going to be the first video from the stream. Same for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday will be alongside Tactical Tuesday, so another tactical video. Or another video of a tactical game, to be utterly precise. Wednesday, Warships. I don't have a good replay yet, so if you have any replay that you would like me to have a look at and possibly cast on the channel, then please go to, or send it in through stealth@stealth17gaming.com, email address in the link in the description. And very, very important, since the replay system doesn't quite work yet, or at least not in the sense that you might hope that it does. Make sure that you include screenshots to all of the 4 tabs of the post-battle results screen. Because with that, I can do a good commentary on it and show the people how much damage you did, who you did it to, where you ended up in the team ranking, etc. Without it, I just can't do that, because the game doesn't really show you. Thursday is going to be the next evolution of the From the Depths Adventure Mode, not to be messed up with the Wednesday Adventure Mode. It's going to be a different storyline, as it were. Friday, ranking up. Saturday, Subscriber Saturday. And Sunday is going to be another Adventure Mode video. And possibly I'll be streaming another Wargame stream this week. I don't know for sure yet if I have the time, if I have the mental fortitude to do that. But for now, that is the schedule for the video. And probably I'll be putting up another video tomorrow. So if you're lucky, you're going to have 3 videos tomorrow with aspects such as the new Israeli deck. And maybe we can have a look at some screenshots or some elements from the stream. Let's have a look if we can discuss some more about that and have a bit of an interesting discussion going on in the comments. Again, not too much theory crafting. Just basing it on what they say tonight during the stream. And with that, that's all I have for this week's War Room. Be sure to check out the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. It is really, really enjoyable reading. It reads like a charm, and you're going to definitely enjoy it. Link in the description down below. And then, nothing more to wish you a good week. Thank you for watching the stream yesterday if you did. If you didn't, don't worry, the videos will be up soon. And, of course, alongside the rest of them. So have a good week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more videos.